Where does time go? It seems to be flying by, and I'm not okay with that. It is already time for my April TBR. I have a lot of life plans in April, so I'm not expecting to read a lot. I've been talking about it a lot, but I'm going to a Polycon in April, which is in Washington, D.C. This will be my first time traveling alone. I'm really scared, but I'm also really excited. I'm excited to meet all my booktube friends and hang out with them. I'm gone for like 13 days, so a long time. So I'm not expecting to do the reading, but I can't be stopped, and I'm still making probably way too large of a TBR. I'm really excited for the reads I'm reading and the things I want to do for this channel. Over on my channel, in order to pick my TBR, I play a game called Snakes and TBR Stacks. It is a Snakes and Ladders inspired TBR game. Very, very simple. I roll the die. If I hit a ladder, it's a reward prompt and I move up. If I hit a snake, I have to add another roll to the TBR, another book to the TBR, and I move down. I told you it was simple. Now last month, I did not complete my TBR. I was 2 books off and it was a chunky TBR, so I have to do 6 rolls instead of 5, which means that I have more opportunities to hit those dang snakes. They came for me last month, so I'm hoping that they're fed and not hungry this month. I do have some book club reads. I do have some video plans, but we will talk about those as we get to them in the TBR or at the end of the video. We ended on Illustrated Spine last time, so we're starting here. Roll 1. 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Romance. Rule number 1 led me on romance, and it's really funny because 2 years ago this was like my most hated prompt on the board, and now I like live to land on it. I've really entered my fantasy romance days in the last 2 years. And I'm picking up Spark of the Everflame by Penn-Cole. I'm so excited for this. I've heard nothing but good things about this book. I feel like all the fanroll girlies are screaming, crying, shouting from the rooftops about this story, and I want to be in on the know. So here it is. It is also mine and Mel from Eleanor Reads book club pick for our Patreon book clubs that we run together called Indie Archive. So we'll be reading it with a bunch of our patrons, which is really exciting. I always love doing these. It's just a gigantic buddy read, and there's a live show when we like the books. I'm not 100% certain what this is entirely about. I know we're following a world that has been colonized by gods and is now ruled by the descended of gods. These descended are cruel, they're not very nice, and we're following a main character who learns a secret about her past, and she starts getting conflicting views, a mortal rebellion that's trying to recruit her, but the heir to the kingdom, one of these descended, also has their eye on her. That's really all I know. Literally, I just saw everyone giving this 4 or 5 stars and said, I want that to be me too, so I'm gonna read it. I'm so easily influenced sometimes. Roll 2. 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. On our second roll, we landed on fantasy. An easy prompt over on this channel. And for this one, I'll be picking up To Shape a Dragon's Breath. I am nervous, but excited for this one. I think there's a possibility for me to really like this, but also a possibility for me to really not. But I'm still leaning towards really liking it, or else I wouldn't be picking it up. The tagline on Goodreads for this is a young indigenous woman enters a colonizer-run dragon academy and quickly finds herself at odds with the approved way of doing things, which sounds like the themes of Poppy War with the location of Fourth Wing. And both of those are some of my favorite books. We follow a main character who's from a remote island who has not seen a dragon egg in a long, long time, but she stumbles across a dragon egg and bonds with it. She's sent to the dragon school because that's what they do, but the people at the dragon school are not very welcoming. She's kind of years behind them due to her upbringing, and she knows that if she does not succeed here, her dragon will die, and she's not about to let that happen. I'm excited to see a story of perseverance here. I think that there's going to be some beautiful messages and really hard-hitting themes in this one that I'm really excited for, on top of just some dragon content. 10 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. A pull pick. Roll number 3, I landed on pull pick, and I'm cheating a little bit. I'm counting my Dragon TBR as a giant pull pick. I mean, that's essentially what it is. It is a TBR that I put out there, and I tell you that I'm going to read the top 3 most voted on books, so really a giant poll, and I'm picking the book that won that, because that is my priority for April, is the Dragon Vlog. When the Moon Hatched won this by a landslide. It had the #1 votes by a lot, so that is what I'm picking for this poll pick. I'm really excited to read this one. Again, a story that I've heard a lot of people screaming from the rooftops about. I have heard some mixed reviews on this one, so I'm a little less excited. I've definitely heard that this is a lot more epic style world building fantasy than just your regular fanro. I think that it leans towards the fantasy side and less to the romance side, I think, and I'm really excited to dive into that because I am a fantasy girly, so when a romance has the epic scale fantasy to it, I tend to eat that up. I know there's something about dragons going up to the sky and becoming like moons and then falling, and some quest to find those pieces, I think. I could be making things up, but I'm really, really, really excited to read this one. It's a chunker though. I think it's like 700 pages. So it's a big priority for me to get through before I head off to Washington, D.C. Roll 4. 12 big scary numbers today. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. The next roll did land us an Our Fantasy Bingo, and this is becoming a bit of a wild card for me this month. Our Fantasy Bingo is a bingo card that opens up from April 1st to March 31st, and you fill it out throughout that year. I'm currently finished the bingo card that I'm working on right now, so I need to wait till the prompts open up on April 1st before I can pick something for my next bingo card, which is why it's going to be a wild, because I will pick something, but I can't pick it currently. There will be a Our Fantasy Bingo TBR for me coming up, and so you will be able to see something that I will pick off of that. And I'm really just excited. I love the Our Fantasy Bingo card. I love the concept of doing hard mode and hero mode, and I think it's a lot of fun. I will leave the link to like the main page for it in case you want to participate. It is a lot of fun. I'm really, really excited to see what prompts they pick for the next year. 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And our fifth roll landed us on book club, which is another really easy prompt for me. I think the board is being a little too nice. I'm a little sus right now. Which for this one, I'm picking Air of Fire by Sarah J. Maas. I'm doing a read along with my patrons, and I need to move on to another book. I decided not to reread Throne of Glass or Crown of Midnight after I've read The Assassin's Blade. I just felt like it wasn't necessary and that I remembered enough. So I'm excited to take off in the story from where I left off, because I've heard that this is getting to the better parts of the story. Throne of Glass follows our main character, Selena, who is the world's best assassin. But she was caught, she was put into prison, and in Throne of Glass, the prince takes her out and puts her in a competition to become the king's champion. There's a bunch of people competing for it, and if Selena wins, she will win her freedom. Is being the king's champion really freedom up to interpretation? It is a grand scale YA fantasy that is a little bit romance, a little bit epic fantasy, but it is YA for sure. And I'm really excited to continue. The story definitely takes off in a different direction come this book, I believe. Roll 6. 5. I think I'm safe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A sequel. And our last roll, not a single snake. I'm feeling good about this month, but terrified about next month. And since we landed on sequel, there are a decent amount of sequels that I could read, but one is coming out as I get on the plane to a Polycon, so I might make it my plane read and kind of buddy read it with Mel, because I think she also might make it her plane read. So we'll be like buddy reading while in the air and nowhere near each other and not able to talk about it, but we'll talk about it when we get to see each other. I'll be picking up the sequel to The Crown of Oaths and Curses, which is The Throne of Honor and Blood, I believe. This is a fantasy romance that is true enemies to lovers. Absolutely incredible, because I've never read true enemies to lovers before, but this is. Like, they literally hate each other, and they're gonna have to work through some things to get past that level of hate. We're following two characters who are fated to be together, and in this world, if you don't follow the fates, bad things happen. Like, really bad things. The thing is, these people are literally mortal enemies. Rook is a witch, and Soren is the Prince of Fae. And he's been killing the witches for a long time at this point because he thinks the witches put a curse on the Fae, so they hate each other. I understand their hate on both sides. And we watch them work through this because in order to take his throne, Soren has to be married to his mate, and Rook knows what happens when you don't listen to the fates, so they are trying to work through their crap and be together, even if it means that they're not in love. But they're gonna be in love at some point, and I know it, and I was obsessed with like the politics and the scheming and the world building and the discussion on prejudice in this. I think it was really well done, but the characters are really hard sometimes to read because their prejudice is rough. Like, you want to strangle them sometimes, but also, I just fell in love with this story, and I'm really, really, really excited to read the sequel. I got every book I needed to on this TBR, and that is really exciting. Technically, Backlist Book Club is moving on to The Girl in the Moon for this month. However, the live show will be the second or third month in May, so I will be reading it in May, but just your little reminder that this will be coming up soon. I'm really hoping that I can get to all of these, but I know for sure I will be getting to the dragon vlog. If you're interested in knowing about what was on that TBR video, I will leave it right here for you to go look at. I believe there's 10 dragon books on it. And then if you made it all the way to the end of this video and you'd like to leave me an emoji just to say you were here, leave me a witch emoji. And have yourselves an absolutely remarkable day.